I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're compensated as insurance brokers, what's our role, how we can help you as businesses, how you can evaluate your agent or broker, and some considerations if you already have insurance when it's maybe time to make a change. Agents are typically representatives of a specific company with whom they have a contractual relationship. Brokers can approach multiple markets on your behalf. So if you're a business, you might want a broker who can go to Travelers and Hartford and CNA and Chubb and One Beacon and get different bids for you. From a compensation standpoint, insurance agents and brokers are really paid in one of three ways. The most common way is through commissions. And typically you're not going to even be aware of this unless you ask, because it's built into the premiums that you pay for your business insurance. If you smooth out the commission, typically you should be factoring in that your agent or broker is probably making a commission of somewhere in the range of 11% based on the total premium that you're paying. So you need to think about that in terms of the value proposition of what is being brought to the table. You know, the two other ways that agents and brokers are paid are through client fee arrangements. These are typically when a business reaches a pretty large size and maybe the volume of work that is being done for the premium that's being generated are not commensurate, and therefore the business may come to the agent and say, we don't want you to work on a commission, we would like to negotiate a fee with you, and maybe that fee would be lower than what the standard commission. And the third piece is really contingencies, which are paid by the insurance carriers to agents based on volume of business that they provide. So the role of the agent and broker, just to touch on this briefly, these are some of the things that I would like you to think about for your businesses. What can the agent or broker bring to the table? Number one, they really need to take the effort to become familiar with your business or your organization and kind of care about what you're doing so that they can understand the risks that your business or organization has so they can put the right program in place. In terms of coverage evaluation, Philip mentioned reviewing this on an annual basis. I agree, that's a very important thing to understand what coverages you have and are they correct? Have any new coverages come into the marketplace that you need to think about and things like that. The agent or broker also has to negotiate with the insurance companies. So you want somebody who will act as your advocate when dealing with the insurance companies, making sure that you're getting the best pricing and premium for your particular risk. And lastly, agents and brokers should also be able to provide claims assistance for you. So what's a fair price? Well, it really depends on a number of things. It depends on what your exposures are, what your strategies and priorities are, and basically what your program is. If you're a small business, you also have to kind of triage the situation, right? I mean, you've got choices to make in terms of your cash flow. You have to decide what insurance is critical, what are the big things that could damage the business and send us under, and then try to start with the catastrophic losses that could happen and insure down from that, in addition to the things that are required by law or statute or contract. There's a big variation in terms of pricing from different insurance carriers or companies. You should ask your agent or broker to help explain why those differences are. Oftentimes there can be pretty big differences in coverage, or maybe a coverage that your business needs is really missing from the proposal. You want to make sure that the companies that you're dealing with are licensed in the District of Columbia. Is their rating acceptable? So you're looking for a very strong AM Best rating typically from your insurance company. And if you're dealing sometimes with a non-standard market, you have to worry about the ability of that insurance company to be able to pay their claims. From your side, I'd like to just talk about some of the expectations maybe that you should have. What is the culture of your company? Are you small? Are you growing? There should be a good fit between your agent and broker and the culture of your company. And you should really start to think of your broker as a strong business partner. Just in the same way as you would a trusted attorney or a banker or somebody who you really trust. A good insurance professional is truly a business partner. We believe that very strongly. And then look at the range of services that are available and what are your top priorities. Not all agents or brokers, believe it or not, know everything about every line of business. I kind of focus in the area of education and nonprofits, associations, and some tech company work. But if you brought to me honestly a restaurant, I'd have to go back and really think through what are the issues that a restaurant would be having that I'm not used to dealing with. You know, do they have deep fryers? Do they have fire suppression? Do they have sexual harassment claims because of staff issues, whatever. So it's really important that you think through and talk to your broker and make sure they have a specialty in your type of business. The broker can really help you if you ask them and have expectations that they can help you. So as you're vetting potential vendors, I would talk to them about, you know, their willingness to meet. How often will they be able to meet with you? If you're a startup company, it might not be practical or realistic to expect somebody to come out quarterly, but an annual review is something that certainly should be within the realm of possibility. When you're in the meeting with your agent or broker, take it seriously, eliminate the distractions, make sure the right people are in the room who can help discuss the issues, and be prepared for the meeting. Same goes on our side. These are some of the things in terms of information needs that we typically look for on an annual basis. So are you adding any new locations? Have you acquired any new property? Are you engaging in any new activities that we need to know about? Oftentimes you'll see small businesses need to pivot to get into a certain market segment. So you might start out doing some sort of software development, but then you realize that I don't know, an iPad app is the thing that you need to do to make money. So you switch in that direction, and it's important to let your insurance broker know of any new activities. This is a basic formula for how insurance costs are derived in a very crude, broad sense. There's really three factors that play into it. Number one is what losses or claims have you had in the past. If you generate a lot of claims, the insurance underwriter is going to look at that and say, there's a greater risk here. If you're clean, they're going to take that into account. Your exposure. Your exposures are your revenues, your payrolls, your property limits, things of that nature. And the third piece is your market presentation. And this is where your agent or broker can do a really good job for you by presenting the risk to the underwriters. So if they understand your business and they understand that you're doing the right things to avoid the claims, that piece can make a big difference in how the underwriter views your risk. And they're going to look at it and say, okay, we get this, we understand what they're doing, they're committed to safety, they're committed to eliminating risks, we're going to price your insurance better as a result of that. In terms of claims reporting, your agent or broker again can help you with that. It's a little bit of another discussion today, but claims-made policies are typically things that you'll see in directors and officers insurance or professional liability. There are very particular claims reporting requirements. You have to get them into the insurance company in a timely fashion, or oftentimes you can forfeit the coverage, or the company will say you've not given it to us in a timely fashion. So understanding the rules are very important. There's really 2 or 3 different ways to choose a new provider. One that we see quite often are referrals. You do a good job for somebody and somebody asks them, who do you use? You get a kind of an informal referral process going on. That's often a very good way. If somebody's engaged in the same business, you might ask them, you know, who are you using? Are you happy? There are a couple other ways which involve bidding insurance and the conceptual proposal approach, which I think if you grow and you're a larger business is a terrific idea. And I think it is harder for smaller businesses. So if you're in that category of being a small business and you're a startup, I'll be honest with you, it's difficult to get that attention. But I think if you align or ask people who are interested in working with you and you show them that there's a great potential for what you're trying to create, you might be surprised that you'd find people who are willing to work with you because they believe in your potential as well.